this every 90 days. If you aren't already, then here you go. You got a system you can plug into. Just stay connected with Waking Life, Business Freedom Forum. I think most of you probably found this through LinkedIn. Jump on the group page. I'm going to give you an opportunity to plug into our Business Freedom Forum community. But what does that mean, Business Freedom Forum community? But well, hopefully exactly what it sounds like. I'm assuming you all are in business. You are a business owner, you're a founder, you're a CEO, you're an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since 2001 when I got a severance package from where I was at GE Capital. Had a good career there, but then they closed down the shop. I got a severance package. I thought, I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was, but I got a call from somebody who made an invitation, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since. Now, is that an easy road to be an entrepreneur? No, I see Shelley. It is not. I like, is it Brene Brown who talks about, being a gladiator in the arena? There's two kinds of people. There's the spectators that are watching stuff happen, and then there's what's happening in the arena. And if you're a gladiator in the arena, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a founder, CEO, if you're a business owner, you probably feel like that sometimes, right? Hey, Cheeto, I'm glad you made it.
Hi, Scott.
So you probably feel like that sometimes. You're getting beat up, you're getting bloodied, you're doing battle. It's war out here, right? Especially in the times that we are living in. Wow, can it be bloody? But as Brene Brown says, I would rather be in the arena. I would rather be one of the participants in making the things happen and take a few licks, but I would rather go down with the sword in the hand and doing battle. Hopefully making an impact, hopefully influencing and helping other people in their lives and in their businesses. If you resonate with that, let me see your hand. Are you with me? Are you one of my fellow gladiators? Are you in business because you want to make an impact? If so, then you are in the right place. That is what the Business Freedom Forum is all about. So I'm going to help you get connected into our community. If that sounds good, if you want to be plugged in with other people like that, we got a community for that. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to join that for free today. That's coming. Obviously, as it says on the screen, we're here to maximize results. We're here to leverage a process called strategic planning, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. But strategic planning is basically the process we'll be using today. And the outcome of today is I want you to walk away with some clarity on at least your one thing, your big objective for the next few months, right? If you didn't remember that this morning, it is the end of second quarter. We are halfway through 2023. Is it still no, it's 2024. We are halfway through 2024 and we've got 6 months left. We're going to focus on the next quarter. We're going to divide the next 6 months, the last half of the year, into 2 quarters. And we're going to focus on the months coming, July, August, and September. So make a mental note. You just wrapped up the last quarter, quarter 2, April, May, and June. We are done. Thank you, April, May, and June. Thank you, quarter 2. It's been real. Peace out. We're moving into quarter 3, right? This is a transition point for that today. All right. Who's got a comment on doing strategic planning? Is this something that if you're familiar with, like, what's your experience? Just give me like 30 seconds. Like, what's your experience with strategic planning? I know I've got some experts in the room here. I'm gonna call on Chief Breakthrough Officer. What's your thoughts on strategic planning process?
Well, I guess in the simplest terms, Scott, I would just say strategic planning is really more about doing what makes the business flourish versus just simply being afloat. How do we position it to exponentially do better than what we've done before, whether that be the quarter before, the year before, 5 years before. The key is how do we get better? And that strategic planning moves us from the business of just, surviving to ultimately thriving, where we towards what it is that we want to achieve long term for the business. So that's why I love strategy.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, and I would say one of the things that that's really important to me, and we'll get into this today, is it's not just about the business. The business is usually a means to the end. The why behind what we do is important, right? So we're going to spend some time like taking a moment and looking inward, looking personal. What's our why? Who are the people that we are doing business for? Why do we do this, right? And I guess I'll start with that. So my why, this throwing this logo up on the screen here, Awaken Life, Business, Health and Marriage, Peak Performance Coaching. That's a mouthful. That's sort of our broad brand that we do the Business Freedom Forum under. But I launched Awaken Life since 2012. We've been under this idea of impacting business, health, and marriage. And it's sort of the timing of this. I don't know if anybody watched the presidential debate yesterday. I do not want to get into politics whatsoever, but whatever your thoughts of that are, I think it's safe to say we are in interesting times. We are maybe even in unprecedented times. The times are interesting, weird, scary, frustrating. We have a lack of good leadership in the systems of the world. The systems of the world are not our friends, but hopefully the community that we're creating here today is, right? We are leaders. As leaders in the room, we lead business. We lead our families. We want if you resonate with my why, it's basically I see the problems of the world and I want to do something about it. And I want to help businesses. I want to help families. I want to help marriages. I want to help families raise great kids. That's the solution to society, culture, any problems that there are in the world. That to me, that's my why. I want to help. I want to help with that. I want to be a part of the solution of that. So that's where the brand Awaken Life comes from. There was a time where I've been an entrepreneur since 2001. I became awake in 2012, and that is not woke. I don't resonate with woke, but what that means to me is I became my lights came on. I became aware and realized that business is more than just making money. It's more than just the bottom line or systems and processes or employment. It is, if you have a business that has a purpose, then you're on my team. We understand each other. That's what it is to me. It's about, okay, I'm awake to there's time on the planet that I have left, and there's a purpose in that. And if I'm a business owner, my business needs to be in alignment with that purpose. So we'll talk a little bit about that. That's my why. I want to help you guys, get back in touch with your why as we go today. So I'm just sort of setting the stage here. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Glad you put yourself on camera. Appreciate that. And for those who joined a little later, PJ's my right-hand man. He's on the call. He's helping. He's monitoring the chat. If you have questions, feel free. You can also unmute and jump in. That's fine. We're collaborative today. My job is to, entertain and educate and help you get something good and walk away empowered and better off than when you started today. That's my job, and I'll facilitate that process. PJ's helping, but I do want to collaborate. Anytime, any questions, comments, concerns that you have as we go, jump them into the chat. PJ's there to help me monitor that, and he's on my team there. All right.
Hey, Scott, I would like to add in,
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
whether it's my personal life, whether it's my professional life, whatever it may be. I feel like I've been in companies that either are so tactically focused or they're very strategically focused. And I know people personally in their personal life. It's a balancing act between what's tactical, what's actual strategic, as in, let's say I go to the grocery store, my car breaks down. If I'm pure tactical, I may go, I don't want to go out and buy myself a brand new 100,000 Mercedes because my car just broke down. Strategically, that's probably not the best move I should make.
Yeah.
Strategically, I should figure out what's wrong with my car, what's going to take to fix it. And like in my last company, they omitted that the investors didn't want us to be strategic. They want us to be tactical, which I find hard to believe, but it is what it is when you're dealing with investors. But that's that balancing act. You still have to focus on both, and it's a balancing. You can't do one without having an eye on the other side.
Yeah, great point, great illustration, Mark, and I appreciate that. I'm going to incorporate that into the slides to come here because yeah, we want to be strategic and tactical and aligned to purpose. We got to figure out how to do all of this, right? It's all important, and as you said, there's a balance there. So how do we figure that balance? But I've spent the last 12 plus years answering that question. That has been the question that has driven me. Like, how do you be excellent as a business leader, as a spouse, as a parent? These things are not, there's tension in these things. They do not fit together all the time, but we must, right? If we want to be the kind of leader that I've been describing that Mark's alluding to there, that Coach AM was talking about, if we want to be the kind of leader that can do all the things so that we can make an impact on this planet, culture, society, economy, whatever it is, we are the solution. But how do we do it well? That's partly what I hope to deliver, because I've been obsessed about it for a decade, and I love to share what I've figured out, because I'm not just the president, I'm also the client, right? I have been solving this problem for myself. I am married. We celebrated 25 years this year. We're high school sweethearts. We've been together for like 30 plus years. We've got 3 kids. Oldest is 20. We got that's my son. We've got 2 daughters, high school and junior high. So we're right in the middle of it. We've got multiple businesses. My wife's an entrepreneur as well. We work together. We work apart. We do all that stuff. We're a sandwich generation. We got parents that are, and grandparents that are needing help. And, it's all the things. How do we do it? How do we do it? Right? If you can resonate with that, then you're in the right place. Let's talk about it. But first of all, let's look at some thoughts here, some statistics, right? So maybe you identify with some of the things on this list, right? This is the top 10 reasons why people fail to meet their goals. Because if nothing else today, I want you to walk away with absolute certainty that you will conquer your most important goal for the next 3 months, for the next quarter. So, but we got to look at, why do people fail to meet their goals? So I know I've had trouble with at least a few of these, if not all of them, right? Goals not specific enough. That's a challenge. We want to knock that one out today. Having doubts about my ability to achieve it. Like, I don't know about you, if you set out goals in quarter 2 and you didn't quite hit them, you might not be feeling so confident about where you're going into quarter 3. Having doubts about the ability to achieve it. We're going to talk about that today. Goals aren't motivating or aligned with who I am. That's how I like to talk about it. If they're aligned to who you are, you're going to find the motivation. But, a lot of times goals that aren't motivating, that can be a killer. A lack of commitment, or maybe it's a lack of accountability. Again, as in my obsession in this, trying to help myself and other business owners that I work with. By the way, I'm a business coach. I help business owners do this stuff. So that's where the obsession comes in. But the way we solve the lack of commitment is really about accountability. Like, who do you surround yourself with? I keep mentioning community, the Business Freedom Forum community. By the time we're done today. I hope you all are a part of my community officially, and you've like come in and, and joined our Business Freedom Forum community. Again, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that for free. But one of the reasons we do that is to help with commitment and motivation, but it's accountability. If there's other people around that are encouraging you, if you're not the only gladiator in the arena taking some hits and some shots, then, it just feels better, right? To know that there's somebody next to you, that we're on this mission together. We've got a similar vision, like we're concerned about similar things, and we see each other as support, right? And accountability. What else? Hard to focus, give up too soon. So these are the kind of things that I've been helping with people with for the past 10 years. And now today I want to share with you some of the best strategies, practices, tactics that I've learned to achieve big things much quicker than you would otherwise, right? Like, you might achieve some things in the next few months, regardless of this session. But my goal is that this session is going to help you get there faster and better and stronger and powerful, right? To do more, to make a bigger impact. So here's my my appeal to, some of us, with a room this size, some of us have just been killing it this year. There might be a few of us that have been killing it. We are just, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. But then some of us might be feeling a little stuck. Maybe there's a lull in the energy, maybe discouraged, maybe even empty. Empty. Oh, that's a tough one. If you're in this place, if you're feeling unfocused, if you're easily distracted, easily frustrated, easily aggravated, if you're like snappy with the people you love the most, if that's where you're at today, don't worry, because I'm confident, if you follow the process, I'm going to walk you through it. We're workshopping today. This isn't just like, presentation or whatever. I want you guys to work. If you were a little bit late, make sure you got paper, pen, notepad. If you got a printer handy, I'll give you some stuff to print. So get ready to work. This isn't just like, watch me speak, right? Let's get ready to participate, and I want you to walk away with action items. So if you've been kind of in a stuck and you're feeling a little bit, and that happens, right? Especially even if you've done a great job of this quarterly planning process, the reason that, there's experts that say the human psychology, the human motivation factor, it needs every 13 weeks a little more tug on the flywheel, like get that flywheel going. It takes energy and effort. And by the end of the quarter, by the end of that 13-week period, you need another booster, right? So here's your booster. You're going to walk away energized, reinvigorated, with greater certainty, with more clarity, with bigger focus, with more motivation. All of those things should help you walk away with some motivation, some energy that you didn't show up with, regardless of how your second quarter, went, your first half of the year went, right? Regardless, I'm here to help you get a little bit more out of yourself, squeeze a little more juice out, right? All right. Again, just feel free to jump in. I won't just keep saying it. Go ahead and jump in if you feel like I'll let you control your own mute and all that. By the way, appreciate it. It's been super quiet, no background noise. So logistically, this is a great team. Appreciate it. Let's jump in. Okay, so here's kind of, I didn't invent this idea. I call this the alignment operating system, though, because, the way I look at it, the spin I put on is a little slightly different. But this is essentially, what's known as a strategic planning triangle or pyramid. And it just means that we want the things that we do on a daily basis to be in alignment with what we do by who we are. So we're going to dive into this, and we're going to break this down. But right now we're not doing like a gigantic strategic plan today. We're just doing a tug on the flywheel to keep the momentum going, and we're just going to look at what are for this quarter, for the next 13 weeks to come, June, July, July, August, September. What are the things that and maybe even just the one thing that the milestone that if you can accomplish it in the next 3 months, in the next 13 weeks, if you can do this one thing, it will help all of the other things below it, the big picture, the mission, the vision, and who you are, why you're here, it'll help that move the needle at least, if not really make a big impact. All right. So that's what we're about to do. Let's a couple of logistics we need to take care of. Let me get this this URL in the chat, but that short URL there is going to take you chat. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Zoom did an update this week, and there's some things happening that I'm not used to. But yeah, looks like that URL should work. Go there. If you, like I said, if you got a printer, you can print this. If you don't have it, you know, it's not that complicated. You know, get a piece of paper out and I'll walk you through it later. We're not going to dive into this right at this second, but I'm just, you know, setting you up for where we're headed. You can, if you're able to, go to the URL, download and print it. Get that ready, and we'll jump into that in a little bit. All right, and then, you know, PJ, did that open for you?
It did for me. Let me see. Let me just complete.
And then that way we can just make sure if anybody needs help with it, I'm trusting that you got their back.
Yep. I think it worked for Mark.
All right, cool. All right, and let's see. Moving along here. Just another kind of like big picture. In context of what we do. So again, the big goal for today is you're going to walk away with greater clarity. You're going to have a more certainty on what you need to accomplish in the next quarter. If we do that, I've done my job. I do want to give you some context for, you know, why we do this and how it fits into the big picture. So this is a part of our Business Freedom Forum. This is the biggest tool that we use to help our clients. Now, again, our clients typically, now you might not be exactly our client. Like you might not have kids at home. You might not be married, you know, whatever, but most of our clients have the challenge of they're way committed. They've got so many commitments and they're having trouble balancing all. So I often say, if you're somebody who's, you know, having trouble sleeping at night because you're worried you might lose your business, or you're worried you might lose your family or your spouse, or both, you're worried you're going to lose it all, the trimetric tracking system is what we put together to help that, right? So what the key to it is, here's kind of our overview of our process, but it starts with assessment. The key is, and we're going to do a little bit of this today for you, you got to assess. You know, there's that old adage, what gets measured gets done. So we're going to do some assessment. We're going to kind of see where you're at on all three of these areas, right? So we've got leadership and executive performance. You got to be a fantastic leader in every area. By the way, each one of these has 7 critical systems that we've identified that you have to do well in. So we're measuring not just 3 areas, we're measuring 21 different metrics for our clients. And we have kind of a just show up policy where you don't have to figure all this out. We do it for you, but we help you stay accountable to all these metrics. So there's leadership, there's business health, there's, you know, 7 critical systems in the business health, and then life quality, life balance, relationships, family, all that stuff. So the way we do that is we assess and measure, and then we hold you accountable. We provide tracking. We track with it. We are measuring all 3 of the big areas, all 21 metrics. As we go, we do that again for you. We make it easy because our policy is just show up. If you engage, like you guys are doing here, right? You guys didn't really maybe necessarily know what you're getting into. You just showed up. That's all I ask of our Business Freedom Forum clients, the ones that are in our councils. We just say, just show up, because, you know, you already have a whole bunch of stuff on your plate. You don't need to remember one more thing. So if you'll just show up in the process of the meeting, we'll help you, right? And actually, I'm going to demonstrate that for you today, right? You're going to get results over time. Over, you know, the course of 13 weeks, you get results, and then we rinse and repeat. We repeat the process. We measure again. So that's how, kind of in context, our process, our system works. Our trimetric tracking system and our just show up policy. So cool. because you showed up today. And if you stay to the end, I've got a schedule for 90 minutes. If I can get us out early, I will. I don't want to waste anybody's time. But, I did block out 90 minutes. Hopefully you can stay to the end. If you do stay with me to the end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get your own trimetric tracking measure, right? So this is an example, the name and details are blocked out here. But this is a real example, and you'll see the percentage of where you're at, and you'll see a gap analysis. You'll see where you're at on your financial freedom index. So if we look at this person, we're looking at, they're probably not feeling super financially free. Their leadership quality, leadership ability is doing pretty good. Anything over 80% we consider good. But then there could be a little bit of work to do. Not much. This person doing pretty good, feeling pretty balanced, feeling pretty in control of things on business health and life quality. So, but there's probably some gaps, some things that could be moved the needle. So if we do this process, and I recommend to my clients, do this every 90 days, like get a little snapshot every 90 days, track it real time. And then you're going to find where in this gap can I move the needle on the business health. And again, we're looking at 7 critical systems. Each one of them has a deeper measurement. So if you stay to the end, I'm going to get this to you. And because you're here, I'm going to give you a special deal. All right. So it might even be free. Cheeto doesn't want me to say that, but it might be free. And here's the community. If you go to, if so far you're liking what you're hearing and you're like, hey, I want to be more plugged into this community. This is my people. I like these people. This is the kind of thing that I think about too. I want to be part. Then definitely jump in, make a note of it. I don't want you to be too distracted, but here's the URL, tupos.businessfreedomforum.com. Is the URL to get to our Business Freedom Forum community. Now this is on, I don't know if you're familiar with Mighty Networks. It's technically a Mighty Network platform, and it's in a more broad community like Tupos community. But we have our own community page, which is Business Freedom Forum. I think actually a couple of you are part of that already. But it's just kind of like LinkedIn. You get to LinkedIn to try to meet people and connect. Well, get into our community where it's actually a community where people aren't jaded and trying to avoid each other. We're actually trying to help each other and move things forward. Cheeto, let me just touch base with you real quick, because you are kind of a champion of businesses getting together. And I think you're a new member of Business Freedom Forum community. Give me your 30-second, 1-minute spiel on why is it so important for community as business leaders?
Okay. You
Sorry to put you on the
spot,
spot, but go for it.
Well, I do believe in synergy. There's no such thing as competitors. Everything that you are doing with where you're good at in the industry that you're fit in. I'm in the tech industry, and I don't have any competitors, even though they're the same business as me, but we could do a lot of things together in terms of how we could synergize where we are best at. And because the market is huge globally, so you can say you could just have a competitor that would be competing with client, but you could practice synergize. But yeah, those are the things that kind of resonates in what we're doing with other companies, that synergy, what you're best at, how you're gonna help each other build up, where you could refer or even collaborate, and those are the things really works. It been doing my business since 1998, 3 decades on the industry of tech, and a lot of that is really helping us grow in the things that we're doing. Yeah,
Well said.
is that 30 seconds? Okay.
Perfect. All right,
Okay.
so if you go to tupos.businessfreedomforum.com, you'll see this little sign up sheet. And by the way, I am an early adopter. I'm not the founder of Tupos community, but I'm an early adopter, and I have a special deal. This is planned to be a paid, this is a high value community. It's planned to be a paid membership eventually, but because you're here and you're early with me, you get in for free. So get in while you can for free, because I don't know the date yet. The decision is not all on me, but any week, any month soon. I think the founder's waiting for it to get to a certain number. But it will become a paid thing. So get in while you can, and it's free. And I'm so glad that we can stay connected that way. And that's the main important part of it. So jump in, because there's, no risk, no reason not to. Check it out. You can always get out of it later if it doesn't, even know find value, but we plan to find lots of value there. Okay, with that, we have about an hour left in our program, and let's get into it, right? Here's why you came. Enough of this chit chat. Let's jump in. We want to talk about goals, right? So in our strategic planning pyramid, goals are kind of right there in the middle. Hopefully you're here because you're a goal-oriented person. If you showed up here and you're not goal-oriented, you probably are feeling a little, like, well, why am I here? We're here because we set goals and we achieve them. That's probably what we all have in common, if nothing else. But goals, right? For me, a part of that awakened life idea is I've been an entrepreneur since 2001, and I have had the awakened idea since 2012. Again, the big difference is purpose. But before, I had to set goals. I didn't even know anything about setting goals. And so I had to take a crash course. Brian Tracy was my teacher. I took every course Brian Tracy had about setting goals. He's like a goal setting guru. So I became a goal setting expert pretty quickly. I found out that I was, and this is again back 2001. I found out I'm pretty good at it, right? I mean, it's not rocket science. You set goals. Human beings are created, and it's almost in our DNA that we are goal setting and goal achieving creatures. I think if I remember right, Brian Tracy talks about it's like a homing pigeon. They are designed to like come back to where they. I don't know how it all works. I'm not a Scientologist, but it's homing pigeons can find where they are somehow. They have their built-in GPS. It's in their genetic code. Humans are kind of like that, he says. So when it comes to goals, if you set a goal, it's almost like we can't help but achieve it. We move towards goals. So they're very valuable, very important, very scientifically, very powerful. There's a lot of data behind it. So it's not just like, oh, goal. Like we use the word so much, it kind of loses its power. But it's super powerful. That's the point. What I did before 2012, before Awaken Life, is I set goals, and they were material goals. They were like a goal for a goal. Like, oh, it'd be nice to have a boat. It'd be nice to have a house. It'd be nice to have multiple houses. It'd be nice to have a nice car. It'd be nice to have a nicer car. It'd be nice to go on a vacation. Like I set all these goals that had like material or financial gain behind them. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know any other way. But because goals are so powerful, I ended up achieving a lot of things. Like anything I set my mind to, I was achieving. I would be like, okay, well, how much money do I want to make this year? And then just poof, I would just like write it down and figure it out, do the process of chunking the goals down to smaller parts, and I would just achieve stuff. But to what end? Well, what happened is, 08, 09, I was heavily invested in real estate. So I was over leveraged. A lot of people were in that same camp with me. But because I was an unguided goal setter, we'll say, I basically achieved it into oblivion. I experienced the worst financial catastrophe you could imagine. I had short sales and bankruptcies and lawsuits and all sorts of like financially. You with me, Uncle Dan? All of the things, like anything that could happen, it happened. Did you have a similar experience that you wanted to share, Dan?
Absolutely. I had a thriving mortgage company. They stopped lending. I had the 15 LOs. I had to lay 3 processors, underwriters. I had to lay everybody else. And on top of that, I was a real estate investor. And so, when you mentioned about, what happened in 2008, I was able to hold on about half of them, but still it was devastating financially.
Yeah. Yep. And when you're devastated financially, it can affect, it affects everything. It's painful, you know, more so I found, and I hear this alluded to in what you said, having to lay off LOs and stuff. The people that are around you that counted on you, that, you know, I had investors. I had a program called FM25, and it was friends, family millionaires to the power of 25. So I put 25 investors together, small time investors together, and I would control the assets and I would invest in the house. I had great intentions, but, you know, I ended up losing money for, you know, not everybody. I had several groups, some of them made money, but, you know, some of them lost money. And to look people in the eye that trusted me with their hard-earned money and say, you know, we lost some of it. I mean, gosh, that's the worst feeling in the world. So all that to say, between 2009 and 2012, you know, there's a few years there where I was pretty lost. I was like, that was so painful. I was so good at setting goals. I was an entrepreneur, and I was like, okay, the only goal that I'm setting now is not set a goal. I actually set the goal to not set a goal because I knew that I was missing something. I knew that if I just kept doing the same things, I was going to get the same results, and it was not something I wanted to repeat because it was so painful. So it took me a while. I call this my wilderness period. I was lost between 09 and 2012 because I didn't know, you know, Brian Tracy, as good a teacher as he was, and maybe he has this and I missed it, but I didn't get the idea that you have to align your goal to something deeper. You know, that information's out there. I've heard Simon Sinek talk about start with why. You know, strategic planning always talks about purpose, but I was missing it. I missed something. So if you were in a stage where I was, I hope that you hear this. Like, goals are powerful, but let's make sure that they are properly aligned. So at the end of the day, well, I skipped a slide. We know we are going to achieve our goals based on our habits. Whatever we do on a daily basis, this is the compound effect. This is the slight edge. This is atomic habits. By the way, if you haven't read one or all three of those books, please do. They are powerful books. So we've got the slight edge, we've got compound effect, we got atomic habits. If you haven't read any of them, get one of them. I don't care which one. Get one. Read it. Consume it within the next week. If you do that, you'll be better off because it just talks about the power of how our daily habits and routines. Oh, another one, Power of One More by Ed Milet. That's a good one too. But the concept is simple. It's like the sum of the little things you do over time adds up to the achievement of your goals. That part I knew. I figured that out. That works. It works regardless of what your goals are based on. So, you know, the illustration I often use is if a year from now, I want my waistline to go down an inch, if it's a 33 and I want it to be a 32, in a year from now, if I set my daily habit to go through the McDonald's drive-through for lunch and get a Happy Meal every day for lunch, that's not the daily habit that's going to add up over time to a smaller waistline. That's probably going to go the other way. It's a daily habit that would add up to an inch or two more on my waistline. On the other hand, if I did want to lower my waistline inch by, you know, 1 inch, if I had a salad every day, you know, a reasonable salad with lots of veggies, if I made that my daily habit, my goal is inevitable. It's all about the numbers, the chunking it down into something daily repetition, daily process. So every one of you, if you don't already have it, have a daily checklist of the things that add up every day that make your goal inevitable, because it's just math and mindset. We're going to talk about mindset in a bit, but it's math and mindset equals goals inevitable. That's a formula. Write that down. Math plus mindset equals inevitable goal, right? It's just a principle. You can't fight it. It's like gravity. It works for anybody. But what we want to make sure is that those habits are properly aligned to our purpose. This is the key. This is what, to me, Awakened Life is all about. Like, just understanding there's something I'm designed to do. So we find our purpose in our design, and our core values help us discover who we are. Because our core values are not something you just make up. Our core values are something we look inwards and we look at. Who am I? Just like I have a unique fingerprint and a unique retinal scan in the physical, I have a uniqueness. Is it that crazy to think I have a unique set of gifts, skills, and abilities? This is the big difference that I discovered in 2012 after I went from financial devastation to like, the lights are on, I'm fully awake, I'm fully alive, I'm fully energized, I'm fully engaged, I know who I am. It came down to this truth. I have a unique set of gifts, skills, and abilities given to me by God. It's in my DNA. It's in my core. It's how I was created. I like this illustration. You may have heard me say it before, but if I'm a artist, and what's the word for a clockmaker? Whoever there's probably some fancier word. I don't know. I went to school in North Portland. I graduated, but I know that people that make clocks, they probably have a word, a name for it. I'm going to call it a clockmaker. So if you're a clockmaker who's also very gifted in art, you might make a ornate, beautiful piece of art and hang it on the wall. And if I look at that and I say, man, that's a beautiful piece of art, but I see design elements. It has indicators of up and down and left and right, like at least a place where the 12 and the 3 and the 6 and the 9 would be. If it has indicators, and if it has one thing longer than the other, if it has hands, if it has a long hand and a short hand, I can tell by those design elements that no matter how beautifully ornate that piece of art is, I could tell it's a clock based on its design. So in my obsession of working with people in this capacity, I've become very good at asking people the right questions and looking into them and saying, okay, I see design elements in you, in who you are and how you were created that suggest a purpose. Does this purpose resonate with you? And when you get that, some of you have had this experience, when you get like, oh my gosh, that is what I was created to do. I want to do that whether I get paid or not. I want to do that all day, all the time. When we go to, parties and hang out, if somebody wants to talk about the weather or sports, I'm not your guy. But if you want to talk about deep things like, what is it that you are designed to do on this planet? What are the impact that you're making? I can't help but do that. That's what I do. Well, good thing I found a profession that helps me live that out. So if you have a business that's aligned with the core purpose and the desire and the passion of who you are and what you're created to do, your business is fun. You can't help but do it. And if you can figure out how to make money that way, great. With our trimetric tracking method, we line those things. But it starts with this. It starts with, okay, who am I? Why am I here? And then from there, you can come up with a mission. All right. Got a little too soapboxy there. Sorry about that. But I'm not sorry because it's important. But yeah, we want to make sure that our big picture, our 5-year big picture is in line with that. So basically it comes down to who you are, why you're here, and what you are all about. We want to, whatever we do today, I want you to, again, walk away with at least one big clarity goal for the next 13 weeks. It needs to be aligned with who you are, why you are here, and what you are all about to your design. All right, so that's a process of discovery. If you've never been through that process, please do it. It'll change your life. I would love to help you with that. Just message me, email me, whatever. Because that's my purpose on this planet, is to help people find that. So if you're lacking clarity there, we don't have time for it in the call here, but get with me one-on-one. All right, so let's keep going here. So here's where we're at today. We want to figure out what is our goal, our objective for this quarter, and then we'll chunk that down into milestones and weekly actions. and the daily habits that are going to help you get there. And again, that's what I call the alignment operating system. And this process, I promise you, just like the compound effect, if you do this process every 90 days, it's tedious. I just did this myself. Again, I practice what I preach. Last Saturday, I had my time blocked out and I looked at the last 13 weeks and I planned the next 13 weeks. I do it like a discipline. It's like working out. You know, I don't know about you. Some people love working out. My wife's one of those people. She loves it. I don't love working out. I do it anyways. It's a discipline. I don't love doing this process every 90 days. I do it anyway. It's a discipline. Why? Because I know that the process of doing this system every 90 days, it's going to help me avoid that big pain that I had in 2009 when I lost everything and I had to look people in the eye with tears and tell them that I failed them. And, you know, it's not like we can't fail with the alignment operating system, but we have a piece of knowing we're doing what we are meant to do. Like part of my regret was I was off track of who I was designed to be. I could have still lost money in the economy, right? But I didn't have peace, and that's the big differentiator. When you use the alignment operating system, you have peace even in the storms because you know, like, oh, I'm in this storm, but I know I got here based on a design and a purpose rather than stupid ideas that I had or being off track on goals. When your goals are aligned with who you are, you have peace no matter what, in the ups and the downs. Let me pause there because I've been rambling. Anybody have comments, questions? Is there any like light bulbs going on?
Tons, Scott. Tons of it.
Awesome.
Tons of it. I think there's been tremendous value in, you know, what if you elected to just stop, like here, there was a ton in what you share right here. So I know I've gotten a ton out of it. So
Awesome.
it brings tremendous clarity. Great stuff.
Awesome. Anybody else? All right. Yeah, so
And this kind of
Go ahead.
your picture here kind of illustrates that tactical versus strategic.
yes.
It's all kind of, as you're at the top, it's more tactical. As you start going down further, it gets more strategic.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that back, Mark. I meant to loop that in. Thank you for getting that. Exactly. This will keep you keeping that balance of tactical and strategic, right? By the way, there's a couple things in here. I'll explain them. So I have a power journal. I'm not trying to sell anything here, but this is a 13-week book. I keep it on my desk. Like I mentioned, I did the process. Here's last quarter's. It's a 13-week. I just closed out this book. Here's my brand new one. It's all shiny and new for the next 13 weeks. If you need something like that, I sell them for $40 shipped to your home. You can go to, hold on, I've got it here. I think it's and PJ, maybe put this in the chat. Verify the link for me too, if you would. But journal.awakenedlife.com is where you can go to get one of these. If you don't already have a system, yeah, it's a good one. If you have one, don't mess with what you got. But the power journal is basically just it helps you walk out this process on a daily basis. It's a daily process. It's got your weekly checklist. You got your daily checklist. It's got 13 weeks of, you know, getting it done and making sure everything is aligned to your big goal. So that helps you tactically walk it out. That's the Power Journal. Quarterly planning, that's what you're here today doing. And Awaken Life Academy or Business Freedom Forum, you know, different names for the community. It's all part of a business owner, entrepreneur community. So you're right in it. You're right with us. Okay. So today we're going to get into, this is what you're going to walk away with. We're going to fill this out. Hopefully you've got this printed. That's great if you do. And if you don't, you're just going to have to use a piece of paper and, you know, make notes and that's fine too. But first, before we get into that, we did mention, somebody brought it up and I said I'd get into it. Oh, maybe it was me. The formula of mindset and math. So, right, we've been talking about the daily habits, the piece that gets you where you're wanting to go and makes it inevitable is math. It's numbers. It's like chunking it down to the daily, like a salad a day. In 1 year, my waistline's going to look different than what it does today if I don't do anything different, right? So there's math, but there's also mindset. So I want to kind of break that down a little bit for you. So it's really, you see how your behavior, your actions, reactions, behavior, it's all in line. It is your habits, right? It is another way of saying your habits. Your daily walking it out is your behavior. But what creates your behavior? The way that we act and react. A good illustration is if I'm driving down the road on the freeway. By the way, I don't know if you've ever driven around in the Phoenix area, but coming from Portland to Phoenix in 2020, we moved. It's a way different type of driving here. I see all sorts of crazy stuff. It's like there's memes about it where there's just crazy driving happening here. But if I'm driving down the freeway, and anybody can relate to this, you're driving, just minding your own business, some car comes out of nowhere and like cuts you off, right? Cuts you off. You have to slam on your brakes. You have to avoid a collision. And they're like acting like nothing happened. It's like, are you kidding me? You almost killed me, right? Your reaction to that is driven by your emotion, right? So how you're feeling, like if the same exact stimulus, I'm driving down the road, car comes out of nowhere and comes in front of me, whether I act with anger, if I flip the bird, honk the horn, get into a road rage situation, like, oh, I'm going to show that guy, I'm going to get in front of him and then slam on my brakes and cut him off, right? That behavior, that action, that reaction will greatly be dependent on how I feel. Now, if I'm a person full of peace and joy and gentleness and kindness and self-control and patience, if I'm just full of that, and I'm just like, cruising down the road, and this guy, I might think, gosh, that guy's really in a hurry. Bless you. Jesus loves you. On with your day. Hope you don't kill anybody. Thank God that I'm still alive. I might have that reaction, as opposed to if I'm, like I was saying earlier, if you're, like a lot of times we get there, right? We're frustrated, we're agitated, we're easily distracted, we're easily aggravated because things aren't going well. If somebody cuts us off, same exact stimuli happens, we could get into easily. I mean, I've been there. I wasn't always a older, wiser, almost 50-year-old. I was in my 20s once. I would have been road raging, right? I've been one of those guys. I got over it. I'm so happy I did. But, it's all based on our emotional state and our psychology. So what creates our emotions is our beliefs in thinking. So what I described there, my feeling of peace and joy, is based on the idea of like, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I woke up today, my heart was beating and I had breath in my lungs. I rolled out of bed and I put my feet on the floor and I stood up. My legs worked. I walked over to the sink and I had a toothbrush just sitting there waiting for me. And I turned the faucet on and fresh water came out of the faucet. And I could rinse my toothbrush without worrying about, there being contamination on it. And I got to brush my teeth and take my first few breaths in the morning and experience the fullness of my heart beating and the gift of life in the first 5 minutes of my day. Now, that's how I'm thinking. I'm feeling peace. I'm feeling joy. I'm feeling gratitude. That's going to change how I am on this call today. Right? That's going to change how my driving habits, my pattern of driving. On the other hand, it's so easy. We are gladiators in the arena. We are getting shots. We're taking shots and we're getting criticized. I mean, who's with me? We're trying to grow a business. We're trying to, knock on doors and say, hey, I got a great product. I got a great heart that I deliver it with, a great service. I want to help people. I do want to pay my bills. I got to pay some bills. I want to help you. Are you a prospect for me? Are you who's like going out there and grinding it out and looking to grow their business, and they get like, some attitude or some like, it's like I literally did knock doors for a while. The summer of 09. I got with a summer sales company that sold alarm systems, and I was just amazed, like literally just knocking on somebody's door, how triggered and aggravated some people would get. Like I had threats of death, gunshot wound, like literally like get off my, or I'm going to shoot you, right? I would walk away like, wow, what is going on with that person's life that they are that mad that I knocked on their door? Like, if you don't want it, that's cool. But experiencing that, we're grinding it out as entrepreneurs, right? If you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to sell stuff, you're going to experience rejection, and people are just plain pissed that you even asked them for something, right? It can be easy for our thinking to get placed to like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to make it. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. If you're having trouble sleeping at night because you're like, I don't know if I can make payroll, what am I going to do? You can't help but feel stressed, anxious, worried, frustrated. Let's be real, we feel it. We got to keep control of our mind, because the stuff's going to happen. We are the gladiators. We are taking the shots. It's getting bloody in here, especially in this economy, right? Like a couple of years ago, it was a lot easier. Right now, it's been pretty hard. Been a couple of hard years, right? For most of us. We got to keep control of our mind, because our beliefs and our thoughts create everything. It really comes down to our beliefs and our thoughts. That's key. So I mentioned before, the inevitable goal equals your math plus your mindset. Do you see how that formula works? And how important? The math is easy at this point. The math is just numbers. It's a spreadsheet. It's black and white. It's just numbers, right? The mindset is so critical and so hard. And again, that's a part of being in a community with each other. Like, we get each other, right? We feel it. We all have been there. And sometimes we're struggling, and sometimes we're feeling okay. We need to come alongside each other and say, hey man, I've been there. Keep going. Don't give up. Keep going. If that's where you're at right now, if you just need to hear that, keep going. Don't give up. Never give up. Just keep going. You can do this. There's always something more you can do. And you feel like, I don't know what I can do, talk to somebody here. We are this whole group here. I don't know how many people we have, and there's more in the Business Freedom Forum community that I invited you guys to. Just say, hey, I'm not sure what I can do. Does anybody want to jump on a call and give me some ideas? Or does anybody, put a post in there and say, in the comments, can somebody tell me what I can do? You might not feel safe to do that on LinkedIn, but you can do that in the Business Freedom Forum community. All right. Man, I just keep getting off on these soapboxes, man. Hopefully you're okay with that. All right, so that's again what I think of as what the Awaken Life brand means. So hopefully that's making sense. So that's our Business Freedom Forum. All right, oh cool. We got work to do, and we're running out of time. Where are we at? Let's see. All right, we got about 20 minutes left. And I want you to do this life wheel. I'm sure you've seen something like this. If you've never done this, this is a really powerful exercise. Most of us have done it at least once. I recommend doing this every quarter, life wheel. So get your paper out and sketch it out. It should look something like this. So get a paper out. I'm going to give you some time to work on this. Write a circle in the middle of the paper, and then do a plus sign like that. And then cut those plus signs in half like that, and then you'll have our light wheel here. And then that's the example. Here's so you got your cash flow and balance sheet up here. And you're going to scale this a 1 to 10. So somewhere, again, once you're done, it will look something like this, right? Your personal one. Scale this 1 to 10, and I'm going to give you time to fill that out and just self-assess. How am I doing on each one of these? And the reason that I'm doing this with you is so that we can get that mindset right. We need to start with our why, our bigger picture, and then we'll get to the goal. All right, giving you time, rank each one of these. 10, the way I do it is 10 is, it goes 0 in the middle, 10 or 5, however scale you want to do it. But like this one, the other trusted relationships is the low side, and love and intimacy is the high side. Health and fitness, health and energy is the high side. So rank yourself on that and draw it in. All right. So I've been doing it along with you guys. There's me. All right, so now the question becomes, once you're looking at this, the way I think about it is I'm looking in the mirror, right? I'm taking a real look in the mirror, like clothes are off, makeup's off, looking in the mirror saying, okay, where do I want to work on? If it was a health and fitness goal and I was like, okay, if I'm a physique bodybuilder, I'm looking, okay, I need to work on this part of the body. I need to work on this muscle group. So, but this is a mirror. We're looking at a mirror of our life where, obviously celebrate the wins. Cool. I've got a couple of high points, but what stands out to you? This is the big question. What on that mirror stands out as like, okay, there's my big, I need to work on that. That's the big domino. Like some of them you might have more than one low one. Let's say you have one or two score on more than one. Which one of those is more impactful? Like, for example, I have a low on cash flow and balance sheet and a low on other trust relationships. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm asking myself, which one do I want to focus on? Which one will make a bigger impact if I focus on it? Because I want you to pick one area to focus on. All right. All right. And I was thinking about doing breakouts here, but I think for time, we're just going to make your own note on that. Identify which area you want to work on and write it down. All right. So everybody got their one area that they want to work on. What's the one area that if I focus on it for the next quarter is going to make a bigger impact than everything else? What's the big domino? If I can tip over this domino, everything else will fall into place. All right. That's the idea here. All right. Now get out your 90-day execution plan. Or if you're just having to draw it out, that's fine too. So at the top of, I'm gonna be with the people who don't have the sheet printed. I'm just gonna put it on note paper here. At the very top of the page, I want you to write the one thing is. by the way, I wanted to show you real quick that this is a part of, if you have been to my quarterly session before, this is a part of the strategic planning sheet. There's a Google sheet that goes behind this. So if you've been to my quarterly planning session before, you already have this. I'm not sharing it this time. You have to come back next time. I'll share it either in third quarter or definitely on the December one. But this is a great tool to have, and you can see this is a part of it. But each part of that strategic pyramid is identified in this Google sheet. All right. And if you really want that, let me know. Just send me a message. You know, email, DM, let Cheeto know. Hang on. All right, so the one thing is, and then that one thing is, I would write it up in this area. The one thing is, answers this question. Let me coach you on it a little bit. If in the next 90 days, so we have our future date, you write your future date in there, which is typically September 30th for this quarter. Between now and September 30th, if I don't accomplish anything else, but I do accomplish the one thing, then it will actually be a good quarter. Like, I might accomplish other little things, I might accomplish other big things, but if I don't accomplish this one thing, it almost doesn't matter. I really need to accomplish this one big thing. If this one big domino tips over, it's almost like everything else will fall into place. What is that one thing that comes to mind as you explore that question in your mind? And then I want you to imagine July, August, September goes by, and we all meet again in 90 days from now. By the way, mental note, yes, do that, right? We're going to do this again. PJ and I will be back. We want you all back. Let's do it again. Let's build this community. It'll be around September 30th. So we get together and you've accomplished the one thing. You've accomplished it. You've been at that thing for a while. You finally got it. That thing has been on your goal sheet for a while, but this time it's done. You've done it. If it's bigger than that, you've made the significant move that you've been needing to make. This thing is under your belt. You've done it. September 30th, you've accomplished that big thing. And then I want you to picture, like, what else has transpired? What else, my relationships, my family, my business, my clients, what else has been impacted by accomplishing that one thing? You accomplished the one thing, and as a result, how's your time been affected? How's your freedom been affected? How's your ability to give and contribute been affected? What have you been able to do in your family, in your home, and in your business that you haven't been able to do, that you've been putting off because the one thing is out of the way now? Or now that the one thing is out of the way, now in quarter 4, you're all set to do an even bigger thing. You tracking with me? So you should visualize, you should see it, you should be able to feel something of what that feels like. Because remember, again, mindset and math, right? Numbers are just numbers. But I want you to feel, because the way you feel will affect how you walk this out. And when you realize, your thought becomes, oh my gosh, this is inevitable. I actually can do this. You know what? If I keep doing the same things I've been doing, I will get the same results. But I'm going to make a change today because I came to this call where I showed up with Scott and PJ. And I plugged into the Business Freedom Forum to help me walk it out over time. over the next 13 weeks, I did that. I'm going to do something different. Therefore, I will get a different result. It's inevitable. I've got the mindset and I've got the numbers. I got the math. It is inevitable. All right. So you've written down the one thing. You visualized accomplishing it. Let me ask you. So I kind of had you step into the future, back to right now in this present moment. It does take something different, right? It takes, again, you do the same things, you'll keep getting the same results. Whatever results you got, if they're good, great. If they're not so good, whatever results you got to this point in this year, it's based on what you've been doing. It's that daily habits again. But if you're going to make this thing that is so important that maybe has been there for a while and you finally get it done, it's going to require what? Something different. Let's not half-ass it. Let's identify what bold action that you can take today or in the next few days, certainly by this time next week, by next Friday at the latest. What's the bold action? The thing that you're maybe, if you think about doing it, like if I did this thing, it would actually make that inevitable. Although if I don't do it, I'm not certain. I'm not 100% certain. But if I do this bold action, I will absolutely, it'll be easy. If I just do this big thing right off the bat, if I just go with the energy I feel right now into this bold action, it'll make that one thing inevitable. I will have accomplished it. There's no way I wouldn't if I did the bold action. But as soon as you identify it, you immediately feel like doubt, fear, anxiety, like, oh my gosh, but I don't know if I can do the thing. Like I can identify the thing, but can I do it? We call this, it's the dragon you have to slay. Your one thing is that princess in the tower. You know you want to rescue the princess in the tower, but between here and there is a moat, there's a dragon, there's a drawbridge, there's a fire-breathing dragon. What is the dragon that you need to slay? And it's not an option. There's only one path to get to the princess in the tower. You got to go through the dragon, and dang it, gladiator, you need to slay that freaking dragon today. You need to write it down, commit to doing it. What's the dragon that you're going to slay? What's the bold action that you're going to take? Who has something written down? They've identified that bold action.
I guess I can speak.
Okay, Lori, what you got?
Sorry, I'm a little shy. So for me, I'm just starting my business, and so my goal is obviously my purpose in work, and I'm having some issues with motivation. And so I need to get out there and join more networking to gain clients. So
All right.
my goal is to gain clients.
Okay, so the goal is gain clients. The bold action is join networking groups. Yeah.
Yeah. Or and like maybe potentially a BNI and Chamber of Commerce, but I'm in a big city, so I don't know how that chamber would work in Portland. It's huge.
Cool. What's your business?
Accounting.
Oh, awesome. We should talk. What city are you in?
Portland.
Portland, okay. I'll be in Portland in a couple weeks. We should get together. If you want. But okay, so your bold action is to get into some networking groups. So cool. Just write the plan. All right. So thank you, Lori, for being brave. I'm also shy. I'm hiding it pretty well today, but I feel you. I feel you. All right. So so far on here, you should have a one thing. The one thing you should have the bold action. And if you don't do anything else, but you write the future date, September 30th, the one thing is, the bold action is, if you just did that and that's all you did, and you make sure you walk it out, like deliver that commitment to yourself. If that's all you did, you're in good shape, because over the course of your lifetime and the course of the business lifetime, if you just did that, what we just did so far, every 90 days, again, it adds up. The compound effect of that adds up over time. Now, I want you to take it one little step further just to solidify. So for Lori, for example, okay, so I know that my big thing is to get clients. Destination goals for the quarter become, okay, identify the number of networking groups. I think if I did 3 networking groups or 5 networking groups, it would make the thing inevitable. What else could I do? And so so that goes into box number 1, networking groups. What else is there? Is there another destination goal? Is there another thing I could do to make that big thing inevitable? Write that in box number 2. And if you get 1, 2, 3, the more layers you put here, right, the more inevitable it is. But I want you to take some confidence and have some certainty and take the clarity and the certainty and the focus that gives you and turn it into motivation to walk it out. Even if you just got that one thing, right? So just add a couple more things and it's going to make it even more. And then from there, you're going to chunk it. Tony Robbins calls this chunking. It's just like you identified. So let's say it's 3 networking groups. What are the things that Lori's going to need to do to accomplish that destination goal, to make the client's gaining goal inevitable? Look at, visit a number of BNI groups, jump into the Business Freedom Forum community, jump in, ask everyone I know in other entrepreneurs, other business owners, what networking groups are you part of? Everybody's got a suggestion for that. Come up with a list of 10 and then try them out, visit them, assess them. Make a decision on which one to join over the next few weeks, right? So that becomes the plan. You write out the plan, give yourself a date for each one of those, because the big goal is September 30th. That goes up there. But each one of these completion dates, you're just gonna basically, the way I think about this 90-day execution plan, it's like your GPS, right? Like, I'm in Phoenix, I'm gonna drive up to Portland. What are the ways points that I'm going to stop at along the way? I'm going to do it over 2 nights. Okay, cool. So what are my stops? I need to plan for gas. I need to plan for meals. I need to do all the planning, but I know where I'm going. I just need to get clear about the path to get there. That's what this is. Think of it that way. And it's easy, right? It's easier. All right. So that's that. Before I move on, I'm going to give you that free gift, but was there any questions about that? All right, I think we're good. Cool. So we've got the, I mentioned to you this, getting your own trimetric tracking summary report. It looks like this. Go to trimetricquiz.com. So write that down. PJ put it in the chat, trimetricquiz.com. It'll take you less than 15 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, less than 15 minutes to answer a series of questions, and then it's going to spit out this report for you. Now, this report is valued at easily a couple $1,000, easily, because the information in it, what it does for you is highly valuable. The stuff that we've been talking about, hopefully you've gotten value out of it. This just puts some greater metrics behind it. It gives you greater clarity on top of what we've already done. The time that we spend on this, easily like the lowest cost I could possibly give this away and not lose money is $500, right? That's just time and the attention that our team puts into it is a $500. That's probably what we'd price it at for you guys, because you're here, and I really want to encourage you to take action today. I don't want any barriers. I want you to have everything out of your way. So you're going to get this for free today, trimetricquiz.com, and it's not going to be free for very long. So do it today. We are going to put the price point on that probably within the next week or so. My team's already working on it. And with that, soon as I see you guys, PJ's identified everyone here. When we match the names, we're going to also send you the ebook, 7 Critical Systems to Scale and Unlock Freedom. It's a guide for entrepreneur on the way to becoming a founder with freedom. So if you are somebody who wants to be a founder with freedom, like you might feel like you're an entrepreneur or a business owner now, I want you to be a founder with freedom. Like you've got the succession plan. You've created a business with legacy. This ebook walks you through it. These are the 7 critical systems that it talks about right there. So again, you'll get that, and you'll get the ebook. And also what we can do, if you want to take a deeper dive, this is the deep dive. So again, we've got, each one of these circles has its own deeper dive. So this is kind of a higher level, more self-assessment. If you want a business health deep dive, this is kind of what it looks like. We look at the trimetric, the 7 critical systems. We look at the overall gap. We look at a gap in each one of your 7 critical systems, and give you a summary of all of that. And this is based on, this is a few hours. It's a consultation. It's a deeper dive. We look at 53 questions where we're going deep with you. But you can see this company here is actually a pretty solid company with a 19% gap, and they still have a $3 million or a 3.6 multiplier on their EBITDA. This is a good company. Imagine a company that doesn't have quite the circle that these guys have. Even a good company has the ability to increase, and we're talking 12 to 18 months. This company is a real case. We're looking at delivering them $3 million in additional unrealized value, and that's a low ball, right? We expect to do more than that. Anyway, so all I have to say, once you have that, there's another step you can take. We're gonna deliver a ton of value just with this, but if you want to go deeper, we do have it available. Again, I want you to get into the community, because if you don't do anything else, get in the community, because then we'll stay connected. You'll be on track for our next quarterly session in 90 days from now, and do all that by jumping at trimetricquiz.com. There'll be an opportunity to schedule a call. So as soon as you finish the quiz, you can book your call there, and we'll do the consult with you for free as well. All right, so tons of value. I know we're at time, but if you've got time to share takeaways, I'd love to hear. If you got to jump, go ahead. But any takeaways? Cheeto, what did you get out of today?
Oh, okay. My takeaway is, yeah, I like the quiz. I would be taking that. Yeah, the performance, I kind of like see how I develop the habits is gonna help me. I started doing, the 90 days challenge, and I want to challenge myself on it. So I'm just like writing it down right now while you were talking, and then kind of like, would like to see that particular, 90 days groove. But yeah, a lot of good nuggets, a lot of good, things to think about, and good.
Fantastic. Lori, my fellow shy introvert, what takeaway do you have today?
I would say that everything that you said is valuable, and I already took the quiz, I think, when I got your email a while ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, recognize that, yeah.
Like I know my habits and my behavior is something that I need to focus on, because I am lacking initiative
Okay,
to attain the goals that I want.
yeah, okay, cool, good. Well, the first thing is taking a look in the mirror and telling yourself the truth, and now we can do something about it. Fantastic. Let me get one more. Let's go to Coach AM.
Hey, Scott, I too took the quiz, and I've joined the platform as well. Great insights here. Great insights. I've gone through a season of kind of feeling like you're just financially locked. And something that you said today has like been in front of my face, but you know how sometimes it's blocked out of your awareness. Like it's right there, but you can't see it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And when you talked about the dynamic of having goals aligned with your inner values, and how values really communicate who you are,
Mhm.
you know, and the leveraging, if you will, like that's my language,
Mhm.
leveraging your unique strengths. It's like, boom, everything just like lit up. The light bulb came on.
That's awesome.
And so, you know, transparently, I was good then. Like, and kind of everything else is like the Charlie Brown language. Um, it was just that light bulb. So for me, I'm probably the reason why you had to spend so much time on the other stuff, because I feel like God was speaking to me through what it is, the other piece that you were sharing. It was extremely valuable to me. So it was an amazing session. I do have to get ready to go, but I'll be catching up with you later, bro.
Awesome.
I think it was phenomenal.
Awesome. Well, everybody, we
And
are
great
a
meeting
little bit.
everybody as well.
Yeah, thank you. We are a little bit over time, so I'm going to cut you off and let you go. It's my privilege, it's my honor that I might be able to make a tiny bit of impact in your life and your business. And if I can do more, you know, just let's get connected. I look forward to seeing you in the Business Freedom Forum community, and we'll look at your quiz and all that stuff. So thanks for being here. Again, we'll do it again next quarter. See you around 3 months from now. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Oh, yes. Bye.
Bye, everyone.